Don't mind me. I'm just eating. I'm allowed a break, aren't I? I feel this is gonna be a tough shift. Welcome to Awaria, or Awaria, the unfortunate game to end up on this week's chopping block of which indie game is going to get reviewed by the channel Starry Shadow. In this game, you play as a tunnel runner, no relation with a maze runner, who has to fix several generators to impede evil ghost women from penetrating the facility you're in and... The first levels gave me the mistaken impression that this would be an easy game and I wouldn't die that much. Believe me, I am calling this game a Bullethell for a reason. Because it's on the Steam tags in the game's Steam page. What I did not see coming, however, is this game's rather stylistic and cool looking art style. And once I recognized it, I swear to you, up and down, I had no idea what I was getting into before I actually beat the first stage. And by then, well, I was already involved. Not that I would have suddenly stopped, because the game is about a woman who goes through perilous tasks to kill other women who are trying to kill her, and are also ghosts. But yeah, if you can't realize, this game is by the same creator as Helltaker, which makes me realize that Helltaker was 5 years ago. As you can see, however, in contrast, this game is very mechanically demanding, to say something. Let's dial it back to the very basics of the gameplay. This is a bullet hell. That means the core of the game is dodging bullets, which will prove to be absolute hell later on, at least. Looking at the gameplay, more avid players of the genre may be thinking, that isn't even that hard, because the number of projectiles on the screen is relatively small. This much is true. However, the game spices up the lack of relative projectiles because there's only so few enemies by having two other factors that make dodging rather difficult at times. Firstly, and least importantly, you are in very enclosed spaces with pillars that you can't go through, and the stage is very limited in size. Thusly, there are only so many places you can escape your imminent death. It's very easy to get cornered in overwhelming situations, which can be brought about by the second factor. The generators possess a time limit in which you need to repair them, using certain items that you can obtain with other generators around the map. All of this takes time, and all of this needs to be taken into account, which diverts the attention, making sure that eventually one of the ghosts is gonna sneak you. And even if they don't, and you manage to dodge them eloquently for a long amount of time, if the timers on the generators run out, you lose anyway. The added pressure is all with the intent of making you slip eventually. Therein lies the fun of the game, the difficulty. There are also some materials that need to be crafted with other materials. Then there's the placement of the generators, which varies from level to level. The gameplay gets spiced up a lot. Spiced up being certainly a word to use considering how the later levels get. But the game isn't all lesbianism and gameplay that tries to kill you every 2 seconds, perhaps even more. I'll call in a specialist to address that first part, but now secondarily, although admittedly a fairly short game, it does come with a plot, story, and characters that you are trying to kiss. Before you enter every level, you get a little bit of dialogue from your boss. Some of these possess little clues as to the plot of the game as you progress through it. Some of them are concerning, some are concerning for different reasons, and some of them... Listen, this game clearly had an audience in mind and they know who it is. Aside from the inherent ooh, you want to kiss girls baked into the game's design and plot, which isn't a negative, the gameplay can be equal parts infuriating and fun at times. I'm sure you can already imagine why. Now give me but a second as I make that call I mentioned earlier. A specialist, a doctorate in gayness. Okay, got it. Well, before she gets here, since you made it this far into the video, you should consider
Hello everybody, Dr. Bibbles here, researcher and professor at Bisexual Academy. Dance asked me to check out this game, Awaria, and after a bit of testing, a little bit of struggle, a little bit of effort, I gotta say this is a very good game. It has everything that you want and need in a game in the 21st century. Girl kissing, lesbianism, a little bit of difficulty, girl kissing, Did I mention girl kissing? Little bit of risk, a lot of reward. But don't take my word for it. You know, I'm a woman of science. That's why I'm going to use my machine right here, the latest, the state-of-the-art Querinator, to confinedly grind down the juices of this game and analyze it atom by atom to truly understand if this is a good game or not. So let me just get my stuff right here. Well, you heard the computer. Doesn't lie. I never heard of a machine lie before. This is a pretty good game. But if you don't take the machine's word for it, take my word for it. I had a pretty good time, even though I struggled a little bit. And you'll have a better time once you try it out yourselves. Now back to Dens and his gameplay.
Okay, so I've already complimented the level design and the plot and whatnot and other similar details, but there is something I've yet to mention that I always have to find an excuse to mention in these types of videos, and that is the music. And the music in this game is quite good, quite relaxing, quite chill, quite fitting of the ambience. It gets you in, but it also reminds me of something else entirely, although that's probably maybe a story for another time. All the footage for this video was recorded by me replaying each and every single level in hard mode, because the game does reward you for completing the game like this, rather handsomely too. The extra added difficulty is paid off by allowing you to see a little bit of behind the scenes and more of the plot and characters. Just one problem though, I eventually had to stop playing hard mode and recording in hard mode altogether because of this kind woman. Meet Dr. Striga. What does she do and why can't I play hard mode because of her? Well, yeah, ain't no way in hell I'm beating that on hard mode. That would mean no hitting those stages with 5 different types of projectiles and dozens flying in every direction. Nah, I pass, I'm good. Boss aside, which I do like the boss, it's still a great game. In fact, I wholeheartedly recommend it. You could, and you should, nab it and give it a try right now, because similar to all the games I've covered before, it's pretty cheap, or in this case, free. So there's nothing stopping you from just going ahead and giving it a try. I mean, you've been watching this for 7 minutes, so either you really like the game or you really like me, and if you don't like the game, I'm saying, my channel's right here. It's right here. And no, okay.